Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary and I am so excited for you guys to be here for this next video. We're working our way through a declutter here and we have 2 drawers left. This next drawer we're gonna get into is quite intense, so stay tuned. I'm at the time of recording here, I don't know which product we're starting from in this drawer, but this drawer will definitely need to be broken up into a couple of videos, so that'll be fun. But if you guys are excited for a declutter, I would love for you guys to stick around. If you guys enjoy makeup related videos and this isn't your first time seeing my face, I would love for you guys to subscribe to the video. Feel free to like the video, introduce yourself down below. But yeah, let's get into it. I'll get you guys set up here and we will take a look at the makeup. Okay, we've got the next bin out, or drawer out here, and there's a lot going on here. We got our little corgi in the back here. You might see him a little bit. He might make a little bit of noise. But yes, this is the next drawer that we are tackling. It is a mess, just like how all the other drawers were. This bin drawer, whatever you want to refer to it as, consists of face palettes, setting powders, bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. I think that's everything that's in here. We'll most likely be dividing this up for sure by, powders, face powders, then bronzers, then blushes, then highlighters. I don't know where the face palettes will go. Those will probably just kind of be snuck in with another one. But there's a lot that's going on in this bin for sure. I think like all the other videos, I need to just reorganize it first to figure out which category we're gonna start in. As we've already been doing here, I've got an alley bag set aside here for the products we will hold on to, and an alley bag here for the high head, and an alley bag here for the products we will be getting rid of. And then I'll probably set things kind of off the side as like a maybe for us to circle back on. In comparison to the other drawers, I think I'm gonna have the most fun with this drawer and then eventually our eyeshadow drawer, because I really wanna hold on to products that I think can be very I hope the right word is versatile for like a makeup kit, and I think it could be really fun to eventually maybe depot some of the stuff that I have here. So it could be put into like a magnet palette or something like that. That's the plan, that's the goal, that's the hopes and dreams. But we'll see how that goes, and we'll kind of see how similar stuff is here. But before I ramble on too much here, let's just speed through getting this reorganized again. Oh, hi. Oh, hello. How you doing, Bubby? Good to see you. Okay, we've got this somewhat more organized. We've got highlighters all along here, overflowing, blushes over here, also overflowing, and bronzers here that are definitely overflowing. I got a lot of bronzers. And then typically what we have in this empty space here is like the setting powders, which I've kept out, and the face palettes. And I think that's where we're gonna start for this first video. crossing my fingers, I'm not sure. I think I'll get through these 2 categories pretty quick, so this might be a shorter video. But when we get into the bronzers and stuff, those might be a little bit longer. We'll see though. I think we're gonna start with the face palettes. What I've been doing with these declutters is I've been trying to do a lot of swatches for you guys so you guys can see. My arm is a little stained here still from doing our lip one, so that's what's going on there. So we'll definitely swatch a lot from these like face palettes. I don't know what I can really swatch for a loose powder or a setting powder, how much that'll show. Maybe I'll just feel it out and try to describe the textures and stuff like that. But yes, we're gonna start there. And let's just take a look at these face palettes first. Again, as I was kind of stating earlier, I'm really gonna try to like think about products that could be good in a makeup kit. So I have a feeling that a lot of these face palettes I'm not gonna get rid of too much because I think they could be really good to depot and repaletize into like a magnetic kit. So just a forewarning, I don't think we're getting rid of much or anything from these palettes. But the first one that we have here is a favorite. It is the Shauna B Miami face palette. And I love the blush in this palette. It does come with a couple of other like more metallics here. I think you would consider these top ones here to be these top ones here to be like highlighters. I don't know really what you'd consider this one here. Maybe just like a blush topper, but this blush is a beautiful blush. And then we'll just go ahead and swatch all these other ones here as well. This is more of like a golden highlighter. I used it a couple of times. I would say when I have this palette open, I probably go for this more pinky champagne highlighter. It kind of works better on my skin than the golden one. And then I really don't go for this deepest one here, but the formula in this palette is so nice. I mean, yeah, that's really pretty. I should really try to use that more often, but not too sure how well you'll see those blush swatches, but this is for sure a favorite palette of mine, and we are definitely hanging on to that. Next up, a lot of these are bronzers. Let's go into this other blush one here as well. So I mentioned it in a different video of mine, but with both of these Alamar Cosmetics, is I tried to order their light set, but I ended up getting the deep set, but I still was very impressed on how these performed and looked. And I think there's something super special about having such a deep red blush. This first one here is very shiny. I'm not much of a metallic girl when it comes to the blushes, but again, trying to keep makeup kit in mind, having options like this can be so good. This orange one is so cool too. Like, oh my gosh, these are such fun colors. So even though it's intended for deep skin tones, which yes, these would look beautiful on deeper skin tones, it works on all skin tones as well. I think it is a beautiful palette and it gives you such amazing options. So we are definitely keeping this guy. Let's just go into this one here. This is a highlighter palette. This is no longer around, but I'm not getting rid of it. But this is the Rach Loves Pixie palette, and this is a highlighter palette. We're keeping it, but I'm trying to think like, would I ever break this apart to put into a palette or put into a kit? I don't think I could. So I'm gonna keep it for like my personal use and stuff for the time being. But I think that at some point this is gonna end up in like my more nostalgia bin. I've talked about that a little bit in some of the other declutters, but this is something I don't know. There's something special about this palette that I just love, and I don't know that I could ever convince myself to actually ever get rid of it. Oh my goodness. This purple one is super, super fun. It's such a beautiful like inner corner highlighter. So different. This bronzy one doesn't really work for my skin tone, but wowza. It's a beautiful like eyeshadow topper for sure. And then these tea and clutch at the bottom are so beautiful too. I wish this still was around. This is such a beautiful idea for a highlighter palette to have everything here to mix and match with. Love this love this highlighter palette. Again, it's not around anymore, but for personal use, I definitely will not get rid of this. I'm gonna wipe these off quick for space. Where did I put my little wipe? The next face palettes here are all bronzing palettes. Arm is wiped off as best as I can. It's a little red, a little stained still, but let's take a look at these bronzing palettes. The first one here is just like a duo. It's by Juvia's Place. It's their light version. I love both of these. I love the cool tone on this top one here for providing a nice sculpt. I don't know how well this will swatch for you guys, but the formula of this is so smooth. And then this darker one here is still good for sculpting, but it's just a little warmer. So the two of them combined are so nice. So there are both of those. Again, the swatches might be a little bit light, but I do really, really like this bronzing palette. Let's do this Alamar one here. Again, this is their deep one, but the options that they give you are so fun. Like this light, like you'd be like, what is that? But mixing it with some of these to kind of create like a nice blend is so cool. So there's that guy. So yeah, it's so different, but it's so good. And then this middle one, these Alamar bronzers and blushes are so pigmented. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Definitely keeping. Let's take a look at this guy. This is by the brand Ace Beaute. I believe it's how it's pronounced. It might be Ace Beauty, Beauté. I usually say Ace Beaute though. This is a bronzing palette. Again, very beautiful. Gives you so many options. For myself personally, I really only use these first two, but again, for like a makeup kit, some of these are good options to have. This one is a little bit lighter than that one, so they are definitely different. I'm definitely gonna hang on to both of them for options. Beautiful. This swatches super well as well. Like pigment on Ace Beaute, very nice. So love that, definitely for a makeup kit, hanging on to that guy. And then the next bronzing palette we have here is by Profusion. This one I'll have to swatch and really see how it compares to some of the others that I have. Because if these, especially between the Ace and the Alamar, if those ones perform better than this, I might get rid of this. But if there are unique and different options in here, then we will hang on to it. But the top row on this is more metallic. It gives you a little bit more bronzy glow, and the ones on the bottom here are matte shades. Okay, so there's those ones swatched. Not as pigmented as the Ace and the Alamar ones, but I do think there are enough differences in here that I will hold on to this one. I like how those top ones have a little bit of shimmer to them, again, for kind of like a little bit more of a glow bronze. And the other ones are matte that you can kind of dip into whatever you want here to kind of create something a little custom. I think I will get some good use out of this, so we will keep that one as well. And the last one here, this one is actually more of a combined palette. This one is by Believe Beauty. I used to have two of these, but I ended up only holding on to the one. This one has a bronzer, blush, and highlighter, and the performance on all of these is so nice, but I don't grab for it very often. Plus, I've had it for a long time. Ooh, that is so pretty. I don't think, nothing here really compares on that one. I think I'm gonna hold on to this one still. Those swatch so well. I've had this for a long, long time. I don't think, I mean, they're beautiful. I would love to have these be in maybe a kit, but because of the age of it and kind of similar to the highlighter palette, I think this is definitely one that I'd hold on to more for like personal use. So that's all the palettes. Again, I didn't make any progress on getting rid of anything there, but I wasn't thinking that I was going to anyways, because I love all of these face palettes so much. And again, potential makeup kit, I think, especially a lot of those bronzers, there are so many good options there. So love all of those palettes so much. So now let's take a look at setting powders. Let's start with an obvious yes. And the one that my eye gravitates towards first is this one here by e.l.f. It is their HD powder. This one is so nice. And I think the thing I like about this powder so much is it doesn't claim to mattify or illuminate or anything like that. It just sets your makeup down, and it does it in such a beautiful way. And there's not many products that I find that, like, it works with so many products. So it's such a simple setting powder that does its job, and that's it. Like, there's nothing to it really, except for that it does what it needs to do, and it does a fantastic job at it. So this e.l.f. one is definitely a keep. I would say another one here, which is a newer one, I would say, in my collection, is this one here by ColourPop. Their No Filter Loose Setting Powder. I remembered super duper liking this one. This one has a little bit more coverage than the e.l.f. one, but it feels very similar, very fine, sets down really, really well. Again, this one's newer, so I haven't used it with as many products, but from the times that I've used it here so far, it works with so many other products, lasts really, really well. So this one is also going to be a keep. And then a third one that is a definite keep here is this one here by SheGlam. This one holds the makeup really, really well. It has a little bit of a pink tint to it, and it's got a little bit of like a sheen to it. So it almost kind of imitates bringing like glow or hydration kind of back to the face. Very, very minimal, especially just because it's a powder. But the way that the pink brightens and a little bit of the shimmer brings a little bit of a sheen or a glow back to the skin, I think is really, really pretty. So oftentimes I'll actually use this in combination with the e.l.f. And in places where I want a little bit of that glow to come back, I'll use this. And in the other places where I want it to either be, you know, just kind of be as is, I'll use that e.l.f. one. So definitely a keep. Speaking of keeps, I think I've mentioned this on videos before, but the little baby sisters to that e.l.f. and SheGlam combo are these little AOA perfect setting powders. I've had these for a long time. Like I literally think that AOA was the very first brand new face video I did. So these are old. So these are a personal use thing for sure, but the size of these is so nice for like travel. I love it so much. But this AOA setting powder, their matte one, everything that I said about the e.l.f. is similar to this guy. It just sets your makeup down, and it doesn't alter anything in any odd, weird way. And then the one here that is brightening, this one isn't as pink. It's a little bit more orangey to some extent, but similar to the SheGlam one, this one gives a little bit of that brightening. Not maybe as like glowy to some extent as the SheGlam one, but very, very similar where it, I don't know, in the places that I would use a SheGlam one to bring brightness or potential glow, this does a very, very similar thing. So love those. I'll need to take a look at the AOA site because I know a lot has changed, especially since I've done my AOA video so many years ago. I love the size of these containers that I might need to just go and pick these up again, because this would be something that I would love to travel with to have in a potential makeup kit, because they are so, so nice. Up next, let's talk about this one here. This is the only like pressed powder that I've held on to, but we're not holding on to it for much longer here. I don't know about pressed powders. They're not for me. I don't know why, but I just don't think they do as well as a loose powder. This one feels a little heavier on the skin. I see it sitting on the skin more than the other ones do. I don't know. There's something odd about it. So this I am not gonna hang on to. I think I said it, this one was by Pacifica. We're gonna let that one go. What do you think, baby? What do you think about the makeups? What do you think? Do you like this one? Do you like this one? What about this one? Not as interested today. Sometimes you're more interested than other days. Next up, let's take a look at this one. This one has definitely been around for quite some time. The packaging is worn off, or the printing on it is worn off, but this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting powder. This one's really, really nice. I haven't used it as much as I used to. The one thing that I always think about though whenever I go to grab it is this one is a little pigmented, and I don't like it as much under the eyes because it does kind of yellow them a little bit, or at least change the tone of like the foundation just a touch. So I prefer something more like my e.l.f. powder underneath my eyes because it's not gonna affect anything underneath. But it is such a nice powder. I have had this one for a very long time. I think I'm gonna let it go. It is very nice. I can always pick up another one for sure, but I want to be able to get a little bit more use for sure out of the ones that I know that I like. So I'm gonna let her go. I'm gonna let it go. Then I would say one that I think is kind of similar to that is the Juvia's Place, their I Am Magic setting powder. This one is in the shade White Sand, so again, it's not necessarily translucent. I do think this one does have a little bit of a pigment to it. Let's just see here. I do really like this one too, but yeah, it kind of leaves a little bit of a pigment there. You probably can't see much of this on camera, so I'm not really showing it off too much for you. I'm just kind of trying to get a good feel for it myself and remember how I feel about it. I think I gotta let it go. I think I got to let her go. She's very nice. I just like powders that don't do too much altering to the products underneath. Now, I mean, and that one barely does, but it does a little bit. So we're gonna let that one go. Next, let's take a look at this one here. This is a newer one to my collection. This is the NYX Mineral Matte Finishing Powder. Now this one is a matte powder, so ideally when you put it on, it will mattify. And that one's kind of yellowy too. I mean, it feels, ooh. I think, being that it's newer, I'm gonna say yes to it. I am gonna hold on to it. It was a little bit, it did come off as maybe being a little bit altering, not fully translucent. But I'm gonna hold on to it for now and see where it sits, get a little bit more use out of it, because from my brand new face that I did, I had a lot of very matte products on my face. And I remember everything feeling very lightweight, not drying, didn't really bother me too much. So I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna have to use it a couple more times here though. And the last setting powder is a good oldie. This is the Coty, I would say Coty, but C-O-T-I, Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder, their original formula. I've had this in my collection for a very long time. I think it sat in my car maybe at one point because it's all like warped on the inside. I don't really know what happened there, but this one's old. The formula of this is so nice, like wow. Just swatching it feels really, really nice, but I think it's time to let this one go. I really don't reach for it anymore because of the scent being so strong. And I know that they have one that I think is no longer scented. Also, it doesn't really screw on, so it's easy to make a mess. I think I've got to let it go. It's very old. I've had it for a long time. If I do end up repurchasing, I'm going to look into seeing if I can get the one that isn't so scented, but I'm going to let this one go. Okay, so that felt pretty quick. but that's okay. Nothing wrong with a short video. But that is gonna be everything that we hold on to. I'm super duper happy with the ones that we are holding on to, and I'm feeling good about the powders that I'm choosing to get rid of. Very excited for potential plans with these face palettes, for most of these face palettes at least, to do a potential depot, repan, or, you know, put into a magnetized palette. So if that's something that you guys think would be really, really cool, let me know, because I'm very interested in kind of doing a whole makeup artist kit thing, as you may have kind of picked up on here a little bit. So let me know if that's something you'd want to see, because that's definitely something I'm very interested in. But yeah, that's gonna be this declutter video. Stay tuned for whatever is gonna be next in this drawer here. If you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if you wanna be notified of the next time that I post, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be notified. And that's it from me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.